years ago. And yes, internal service quality is first. We have to look inside of our organization with our employees to create that culture that we want. And yes, as we look at internally, employee satisfaction, you're absolutely right, is first. We want employees that are happy to be with us, that come to work every day excited. If they come to work every day excited, meaning we're creating that environment for them, they're going to stay. So the retention is next. If they are satisfied, if they stay with us, science may say that they're going to get better at their jobs, they're going to get more bought in, so we've got productivity and performance that's happening. Once we get that at a very high level, now it turns to external service quality. So now it is about the customer, the client, the patient. External service quality simply is customer satisfaction, which means then that the customer perceives greater value for your service, right? Greater value for service. Remember, we're talking about performance and productivity through engagement. Then finally, if they perceive that value, they're going to be loyal. They're going to drive 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles past someone else to get to you, right? They're going to endure some of our phone trees, right? To talk to someone, and then we're going to make some money, and our shareholders are going to be happy, right? Engagement puts people before profits. If you think of these in 3 buckets, it's internal service quality, external service quality, and then the bottom line. That's what we're here for, and we understand that. So that's one retail environments, and in sports, as I am now, and where some people would call the happiest place on earth. I spent some time there as well. These are 4 distinct cultures. In retail, it was about aggressive hospitality. That was our purpose. I show up every day as a general manager of a store to excite my people to then excite the customers. I was one of those store managers that would be at the door and unlock it myself. It was about aggressive hospitality. That was my purpose. I wanted my people to be excited, and I wanted my community to find the things they needed in those retail stores, right, and have a great shopping experience. Over to the left in the NFL, I spent a year in the NFL, and the team that I was with, it was all about the habits. What we do every day to perfect the employee experience and ultimately the fan or the guest experience. So we were creating habits. What habit do I talk about today? Do I perfect today? Do I work on today? That reflects the mission. Habits reflect the mission. And you guys are smiling because, yeah, stole that one from an old coach in Philly. So, Mickey, every day our purpose was, no matter if you were in finance, no matter if you were in resorts, no matter if you were a housekeeper, no matter if you were a custodian, no matter if you were in retail or with Disney Institute like I was, it was all about happiness. How do I create happiness for you, my employee, then ultimately my guest? Because remember, purpose drives engagement, right? It's all about happiness. Currently, spent 3 years here with my colleagues at the American Airlines Arena, Miami Heat, and Levy, and it was about elevate. And you'll see a diagram in a moment, or a picture in a moment, of how we brought elevate to life. But it was about elevating the employee and the guest experience, right? In that order, employee and guest experience. Taking it to another level, taking it to higher heights. And where I reside currently in Atlanta, with the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena, it's about that Southern hospitality, right? We smile. We provide that Southern hospitality. It's why we show up at the arena for games and concerts. That's our purpose. That purpose drives engagement. I am adamant with my leadership team that we must smile when we greet our employees, when we have our pre-shift briefings. We have to smile and engage and listen and learn from them and empower them, right? That's the purpose. So, secondly, purpose drives engagement. How do we live? What's our norm? It has to be a culture by design when we think about engagement. We have to be very intentional about what we do, what we say, how we plan, who we include in the process, who we listen to, who we get feedback from. We have to be very intentional. So I submit to you that culture has to be by design, and it has to focus on employee engagement. You see what it says on the screen? It's no longer a day where we say, go that way. Right? As an organization, as leaders within the organization, as colleagues within the organization, we have to say, that's the way we're going, come on, let's go. We've got to take them along the journey with us. So we might have to open up some of those contracts. We might have to open up some of that information that normally would have been just shared in the C-suite or in a small group, because we want everybody to buy in. That's engagement. We want them to buy in to the system. In order to trust the process, they've got to know the process. So how do we build that culture by design? I believe over the course of time, 25 years in the service industry, we've got to educate, engage, and inspire our team. We've got to educate them, engage them, and inspire them. Tell them what's going on, send them to conferences, bring them along to conferences with you, take the information back, have meetings when you get back, and talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. One of my retail companies years ago, I was meeting the president for the first time in the organization, and young in my career, I'm excited about hearing his real high-level stuff. And he said, as he opened up, he says, how do we get there? We've got to talk about that stuff all the time. We got to talk about that stuff all the time. And he said a third time, we got to talk about that stuff all the time. He had a couple other little bullets, and that was it. I was like, that wasn't real high level, big words and all. He just said, talk about that stuff all the time. Educate our people. And engage them in the process. Help them make decisions based on what we've educated them on. And then be the cheerleader. What does this look like? When you think about educating, engaging and inspiring, undereducate, and this is a little fuzzy, but right there in the middle is this really tall, thin guy. Okay. He's not tall and thin. He kind of looks like me. But it's a pregame. It's a pre-shift briefing. And basically, we're just getting them fired up. This is the game, or this is the show. This is what we need to do. This is what our SMILE philosophy is all about. This is what I need from you. In your respective areas, you're going to find this or see these people. I'm educating them on that event. Right? In the middle, another tall, thin guy. Oh, okay. In the middle, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. He has a cape on. And to the right, there's a mask with the cape. And simply engaging the team. Our philosophy there, with the heat was elevate, as I mentioned. So, as it relates to culture, as it relates to engagement, this person took on the persona of Captain Elevate. Now, a real grown comic hero, if you will. But took on the persona of the culture of Elevate and became Captain Elevate to engage the group. So he flew around the arena prior to the game or prior to the show and just said hello. Or as you see in the right, presented a giant Elevate card, which I will have to say, since she's in the room, my colleague Monica Davis created that big giant Elevate card, right? But it was really just to get people fired up. It was really to take on the persona of that culture. We lived it. Therefore, our employees were engaged. Therefore, our guests, our fans, had a great time. Therefore, our survey scores were off the chart. Therefore, our season ticket renewals stayed at 90+%, even beyond the LeBron years. Therefore. Right? Culture by design. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers. And one of my brothers and I talk all the time. And as we have some of these conversations, he says, you know, you can say whatever you want to say to people. You can even bend the truth a little bit, okay? Lie to people, but you can never lie to yourself, right? When you think about employee engagement, when you think about building culture, when you think about your organization, define your reality, right? You've got to control that culture, or it will be a culture by default. They'll create the culture in the parking lot, at the water cooler, maybe even at happy hour, and that might not be a good culture, right? Define your reality, and you control that engagement. Face reality as it is. Our employees are not engaged. Our numbers are not where they need to be. Our shareholders are not happy. Define your reality, and then determine how you're going to fix it, right? Be candid. We talk transparency. Be open and honest. Share the information. This is an old basic leadership principle, number 4. Don't manage, but lead. Lead the team. Remember, take them along the journey with you and celebrate at the end. Whether you wear a cape and a mask or not, right? Change before you have to. Don't wait. And I know that's why we're here. We're here to continue to learn and develop and benchmark and share best practices so that we can be proactive in gaining that shareholder value. And then finally, if you don't have a competitive advantage, you might as well stay home. I know, the Atlanta Hawks are below the Miami Heat. We're probably next to last in the division, right? But we still show up to compete. Our competitive advantage in the case is we're going to get some first-round draft picks in the next couple of years, right? But we still show up. My point is, or the point there is, you have to be cognizant that I'm not in the game. Our employees are not in the game. They're not engaged. They're not buying in. And so we got to figure out, how do we get them to buy in? How do we get them in the game, right? And we get to that shareholder value. You know, finally I say, you own the employee and customer experience. You own it. Well, I've got tons of people. I've got many contact centers. You own the employee and customer experience. Because if you own it, your colleagues own it, the rest of the people in the room own it, they'll see that you own it, and it will get better. I hope that I've shared a tidbit of knowledge from my experience, or from my companies, or from some of the information that I have to help you along the way. I truly, truly trust that you'll enjoy the beverage service.